Picture for a moment you're on an alien world. Things around you are oddly familiar, but the clock is ticking. Night is approaching, the monsters are coming, and you had better prepare. Of course, I'm talking about Minecraft. But what has that got to do with Icarus? Well, stick around and I'm going to give you the answer to that. Because in this video, we're going to look at the thinking that has driven this game and find out if the development path that Dean Hall strode down is visionary or just madness. Now, if any time you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I've split this video into a number of different chapters. The first one is on the research behind it. Where did Icarus begin? Is DayZ the father of Icarus? What is the dream that drove it all? Is Conquest at the heart of Icarus? There's lots to that statement. Is Icarus a replaceable canvas? The community is at the core, and the beta process. Just to put the cards on the table, my research on this topic has consisted of a lot of reading, and all the links are below to the various source materials. I've watched a lot of interviews, watched all the Icarus streams involving Dean Hall combined with my own thoughts, and much of what I present here is material available scattered over the internet with perhaps some of those random and insightful comments summarized a little cleaner here, if I don't say so myself. When it comes to Icarus and understanding what is at its heart, it is important you understand some of the basics about the key lead developer, Dean Hall. Why? Well, quite simply, Icarus is in fact an attempted projection of some of his key life experiences into a computer game. He very much has a history of being a free thinker and challenging the norm. He has been in the army, he has been in the Air Force, he has trekked to the South Pole, he has climbed Mount Everest, and there are other stories scattered on the internet where he has gone on adventures where literally his life has hung by a single line. And while obviously loving the outdoors and wild experiences at his very heart, he has always been, and perhaps forever will be, a computer programmer and a game developer. So is DayZ the father of Icarus? Well, back in 2012, Dean Hall developed the DayZ mod for Arma 2, which was a huge sensation, and with only several months later had over 1 million unique players and went on to be played by great names like Frankie on PC.
Oh shit, Sada, we got a horde coming.
The DayZ mod, when it was blowing up, is when he has stated that he got great pleasure from that close engagement with players, the innovation, the dynamic nature of it, and when he moved to DayZ standalone, those things changed. And of course, over time, there was that loss of connection with the community. Just the other day, I was telling a good friend of mine that I was thinking of doing this video, and I asked him what he thought of DayZ standalone, and he said this: well, it was really just a hardcore survival simulator. The zombies were never more than a distraction for me. And of course, he was 100% right. And Dean has said this many times himself. DayZ was really an attempt to make a hardcore survival simulator, and the zombies were very secondary. But the point of difference with DayZ was always and forever will be that it is a hardcore survival experience. But the lessons learned in the development of the mod and the standalone version would appear to be quite instrumental in the development of Icarus. But not just in the game mechanics, but in the way the game has been developed, and I will come to that shortly. It is clear to me that Dean's dream is to create a genuine survival experience and to push the genre to the next level. It was not going to be enough to do just another mix-up of the age-old survival mechanics that you see in most of the other games. The dream is in fact about creating in the player that feeling of the chaos and fear of a survival experience. It is not just about the loss of a character, but it is about the feeling. Now I know that sounds somewhat insubstantial, but it is what is behind much of what Dean talks about. Now let me explain that. What does it feel like to stand on top of Everest? That actual moment, what does it feel like to wander the Antarctic amongst that great expanse? These are the things that I think drives him. And these are the things that you see in Icarus. Moments of chaos. Moments of intense experience, and all built within a boundary of an attempt to conquer the environment. In fact, this is a nice place to discuss that intro Minecraft scene. Dean has said that an aspect of Icarus is trying to capture the feeling similar to that first hour of Minecraft. There is this feeling of a world out there, dangers lurking, and you need to master or survive in just a tiny little part of it. And piece by piece, slowly you start to conquer the world around you. But the world is enormous, and you are just a tiny piece of it. So let's take that train of thought forward a little bit. A great way to think of a session-based survival game, which is what Icarus is in terms of conquest. I heard Dean mention this in one interview and it struck a bit of a chord with me, and it is worth explaining that concept here a bit more. Let's start by saying that most games in fact are session based, meaning that when you play you have some sort of timer on you. Look, it might be dinner time, school time, work or bedtime. My one is actually my wife and it sounds like this.
You're broken from the computer forever!
And if we take that thinking a little further, many games have limited time spans in the game. You could think of the idea of monthly server wipes on some games, for example. But the heart of a session-based game is in fact conquest. When you complete a drop on Icarus, be it a 1 week or a 3 week drop, your aim is to conquer that time on the planet, to live and experience that moment and to achieve some objective. But here is the thing. With the session-based idea, you can never conquer the whole planet. As that session has a set time limit, you are conquering just a piece of it, a moment of it. You get a unique experience, but it is a momentary experience. Now this is contrary to a lot of survival games that have no time limit setting. Often when you conquer those, you conquer it all. It might take a while, but it is an open world environment that you explore and you can conquer it all. And it's done. Now Icarus twists that around in a way that you can only conquer moments. So which is the better way to do it? Well, just think about it. If you were to go off right now on some great adventure and be successful in that endeavour, you will have conquered that small bit of the planet, you will have conquered that small ambition in you, but you would not and never will conquer or master all the challenges on this planet we call Earth. So Dean has tried to bring that thinking that you can never conquer everything into the survival experience. but at the same time ensuring continuity between those unique moments of experience on the planet. Well, that is, I believe, the idea. So how does this session-based survival game allow this? Let me explain it to you in the terms of a painting, but first let's look how a normal survival game would operate in this painting analogy. The canvas of the painting is the background, the trees, the land, the rocks, various things. Let's call it the substance. Our painting in this case is using a traditional canvas. Most survival games are like you being the painter using, for example, an oil-based paint. And in this world you may be able to paint whatever you want. And from time to time things may be added to the game in the form of, for example, you might be given a little bit of acrylic paint to use or some pastels, and you therefore may be able to mix things up a bit, but it is all done on that canvas. What Icarus does is that each session the experience can be changed. Really importantly here, I'm not saying it always will change, but the developers have the capability to change it. For example, you may be using that same canvas, but rather than using the oil paint, this time you're going to be using acrylics, or even perhaps the canvas or part of the canvas could be swapped out for a wood board. So now you're painting on a wood board with a different type of paint. This can be changed each time. This can provide a totally different experience each time. That's the development thinking behind that aspect. I'd also like to touch on the community and how it has been core to the development of the game, and this is quite unusual. When you listen to Dean answering questions around DayZ, he clearly says that he made mistakes and he's reflected on those and he's tried to learn from them. And one of the key ones from those days was the loss of the community in DayZ standalone. And I think it's fair to say that for a long time the DayZ standalone community had an almost open rebellion against the developers. There was a time when communication about what was going on with the game fell apart, changes were implemented, poorly received, poor feedback from the developers, etc., etc. It led to a cycle of unrest. Now, truthfully, for the most part, Dean was not working on DayZ standalone when it got really bad. He had long since left. But he was there when it started to go wrong, and he obviously saw it happening subsequently. The Icarus development program is clearly a direct learning from this. I can say from my own observation that I have never seen a development team so engaged with the community and listening to them, talking to them, and being extraordinarily open.
Join the dev streams, and these aren't just a marketing thing. We do want to get people's ideas. But yeah, we are reading your comments as we're going through here, and one of the really fun parts about this is going to be able to get people's feedback on it before we get it out there. We want to talk with the community on Discord. We want to talk with streamers. We see Twitch and our players in the community as a really important part of our development.
The Icarus team started showing the community what they had on the table when it was in a playable state, primarily through weekly streams. Viewers like you and me were encouraged to provide the feedback. The Discord channel was a hive of activity back then, and of course has grown in great leaps and bounds. At times there would quite literally be half a dozen or more developers actively talking in the Discord channel for long periods of time, and at all days of the week and at all different times, and even Dean himself would actively come on and answer questions directly from people like you and me. Dean has spoken about the absolute essential nature of having quite a large number of people coming in and testing and playing the game, because he's aware that only the community can tell him whether it's good to go or not. And this of course comes from his experience knowing that developers are not the right people to say whether a game is ready or not. That must be the community. So this brings us very neatly to discussing the beta process. As you can see, it is set into different stages. It is not getting rolled out as one big beta, and this session-based structure has certainly helped here because they can divvy things up and get people to test portions of it, because between each stage they will make changes to the next stage based on that feedback from the community. So this beta process is also being deliberately designed not just for a progressive testing model, but a model where the community has brought close in to the testing phase. And it also, by the way, creates excitement for the next beta weekend, because you do one and then there's a big gap of 2 weeks and then the next one, and that builds up real tension. It's quite a clever idea. So now I'm just going to give you a final comment, but before I do, I'm going to play a clip of some gameplay. One of my teammates had fallen into a big hole in the back of a cave. Myself and my other teammate had spent hours and hours and hours trying to rescue him with almost no resources. This clip plays for about 40 to 50 seconds. Then after this, I'm going to tell you why I've played this for you.
Sure you don't want me to take the hit and try and unstuck?
Yes.
No, I'm going to die, then I can unstuck, can't I?
You can try.
No, that's right. We'll set no in a minute.
Hey, kiddo.
Don't set me on fire. What are you doing?
You're standing too close to me.
Whack me out.
I can't. I'm down. I'm dead.
Oh God, where are you?
I'm unconscious. Oh, you're both on fire. Oh God.
Weaver, you're steady. Now we're all dead.
No.
We're all dead.
No.
Because Matty fucking stabbed me with a torch.
I did. You were standing right beside me, and I turned around. I had the torch in my hand. I didn't hit you with any. Oh.
I just stood there, and you walked up behind me, and you ran the torch in my butt.
What?
You set us all on fire.
Oh no. Why play that clip? Because this game is managing to create within it that feeling of survival. And if you can do that, that sets the players up themselves to create their own stories within it. Myself and my friends all agree that this game seems to be really hitting a home run with that survival experience, probably because of all the things that I've talked about. Don't forget, I've got a Twitter and Discord. Get your mojo back, like and subscribe, and do all those really, really good things. And I would love to see you in the next chapter. Thanks for watching.